So I wanted to make this video to talk a little bit about what's been going on with my son Caden for probably the past year. He has been having increased aggression and some explosive outbursts, I think we would describe it as. And he's been more physically aggressive with myself and my ex. To the point where we recognized that we needed some additional help and some outside support. And so, one of the reasons I wanted to show this is because I feel like there's a real lack of representation in the media with kids that are on the more severe side of the spectrum. We see shows like, The Good Doctor and Atypical, Sam from Atypical, and, the Sheldon on the Big Bang Theory, and kids like my son and other kids in the area who are never going to know how to drive a car. They're never going to go, to college. They're not really going to live on their own without supervision. These are the kids that kind of aren't shown in the media. The kids that are kind of lashing out, putting holes in their walls at home, destroying property. Just these are the kids actually in the families that need the most help. And those are the kids that are a lot of people, unless you know someone, have someone in your own personal life that has a child like this, then a lot of people don't even know this types of things that myself and other parents are dealing with. So I wanted to make a video to kind of show that and so others like, okay, one, you're not alone, and two, this is something that is going on, and that is gonna, I feel like is gonna become like a problem as these kids begin to become adults and age out. And I mean, because this is the type of things that are, that keep me up at night, and other parents like, what's going to happen as my child ages? What happens when I'm no longer physically able to meet his needs? What happens when, they're not appropriate to go in a nursing home with a bunch of elderly people? That's not the solution. So one of the things I wanted to draw attention is what is the plan? What are we going to do with these kids once they get full grown? And so I have thought about, as far as me and my own personal life, I had done some research, and there was this place in Indy called the Neurodiagnostic Institute, and they have a autism unit there. And so I figured, my son does take some medication, and they are able to manage him while adjusting his meds, and they have a BCBA on staff, and it's a locked, secure, safer environment for him, where they can come up with, like I said, a treatment, a more in-depth treatment plan, and also adjust his meds at the same time while keeping him safe. In the process, I've learned that I have missed him tremendously. It's crazy how much I miss him, and it reminds me of a little bit of the YouTube song, without you, I can't live with or without you. It's like I can't fully manage him when he's home, but when he's there, I miss him so incredibly much. If I was rich, I would, in an ideal world, one, he wouldn't have autism, but two, if I was rich, I would hire like a caregiver / bodyguard who would be able to help me at home manage him, but also protect me when he's having aggressive outbursts. That would be great. if I could hire The Rock, that would be great. But in all seriousness, I just wanted to kind of show people what types of things that families and parents like myself are dealing with. So here's a little bit of that. So some other things that needed to be taken into consideration when deciding, how to move forward with my son and his behaviors was also considering my other son, Ryan, because part of me feels like I want to do and keep my son Caden as close as possible and care for him myself, and be able to, because one, I have fears because he's nonverbal that he won't be able to communicate if someone is not treating him right. But on the other hand, I also have to be diligent with making sure that my other son, Ryan, is safe as well. And so that was the other thing that I considered when trying to figure out what to do with Caden. And Ryan has already witnessed way too much than he's seen Caden be aggressive with myself and my ex and kind of lash out at us and hurt us basically. He's seen us, his nail marks. Caden has made us bleed and has left bruises and things like that. And Ryan has had to, more or less, we tried to shield him from it, but in some instances, he's witnessed it. And so I also wanted to make sure he wasn't feeling neglected as well. And so, he almost has, in some ways, I feel like he almost has like a little PTSD response where when Keaton starts to get upset, he can see it in his eyes like that. Okay, what do I have to do? Who do I have to call? How can I be useful here? Kind of goes into this very like hyper alert mode, hyper kind of vigilant mode. And so that was something else that I wanted to consider when trying to navigate what to do with Caden. Let him have it, baby. Throw it, kick it. All right, bye. Kick it, throw it.
He's able to catch the ball.
I know.
No.
No.
It's about 7:05 a.m. on Monday morning. We're taking my boy to the Neurodiagnostic Institute in Indy. That is, I believe it's the Damar unit of the Neurodiagnostic Institute in Indianapolis this morning. I have a mixture of emotions going on. I know that humans are very complex. As a therapist, it's like we have so many complex emotions, sometimes conflicting emotions at the same time. And right now I am experiencing a lot of that. Real heavy grief, some relief that, I'm gonna get some sort of respite for a little bit. Guilt about the relief I'm feeling, lots of guilt, fear that, you know, they might not treat him the way I would, you know, maybe somebody there won't treat him right and he won't be able to verbalize that to me. Some hope that maybe we'll get some help and this will somehow help him so that he's not so aggressive anymore. Just, I don't even know, I can't even describe all of them. But that's where we're at this morning.
Aw, baby, I love it. What's that, car in Mama Liz's garage door? Yeah.
So we dropped Caden off a few hours ago at the Neurodiagnostic Institute, and it's just been a emotionally draining day. Having to say goodbye and entrust him at the care of someone, you know, strangers that I'm hoping will be able to help him and us be able to better care for him. I'm just tired, more mentally drained. I am trying to do what I would tell my clients to do, which is take it easy tonight and not, you know, just kind of be kind to myself, as opposed to thinking about all the things I need to do, like laundry and all this stuff. I think I'm just gonna kind of chill out tonight and have just a little rest time for me and my mental health. Overall, the process, the admission process was relatively smooth. We had done all the paperwork ahead of time, so most of that stuff was already filled out and signed. The only thing was we pulled into like this little garage area. We got out and we gave his belongings, and we had to get him changed into whatever clothing they had for him there, like some jogging pants and sweatshirt or t-shirt, and so that way they could take his blankets and his clothes and stuff and make sure, I don't know if they wash it or run it through something to make sure there was no like bed bugs or lice or anything like that. And then once that was all taken care of, we met the team that were going to be working with him, and they took him up to the unit and then said our goodbyes, which was really hard, and I was crying, and but he seemed to go up okay with the staff. And then we sat with the psychiatrist and the director of nursing and a fellow, I think, student, and we went over, you know, his medical history again, which a lot of it was filled out in the paperwork, but just reiterated a lot of it to them and what our concerns were and stuff like that. So they were taking notes, and he'll be working with a BCBA there and for several weeks for like intense behavior modification, and then adjusting his meds in a safe environment so he can't lash out at us while they're doing that. And then I had just had some other little concerns that I mentioned to them. I didn't know if they would be able to follow up on, like his eyesight and stuff like that. But that was it. And then once we did that, we signed a couple more forms, and then we headed back. This destruction was caused by Caden the night before we brought him to Indy.
Wild animal.
I'm just sitting in my work parking lot waiting to go in. Last night was the second night Caden was at NDI. Was really struggling last night and today, because today is actually Caden's birthday. He was such a happy little baby. It's ironic because I remember after he was born, anytime the nurses would separate us and take him to do vitals and things and check on him, I just couldn't stand being away from him. I just couldn't wait until I could hear them wheeling him back down the hall towards our room. He was such a good baby. We used to call him Baby Jesus because he was so easy. Yeah, so last night was his second night. I don't believe he really understands that it's his birthday, but I do, and it's very upsetting to me. And they said that he did do having a lot of behaviors, adjusting. He's been headbanging, and then they said yesterday at one point he bit his arm and had left an abrasion. So my heart kind of sank at that. But then I have to remind myself that's the whole reason he's there in the first place, so that we can get some of these behaviors under control. So we're gonna try to FaceTime him or Zoom with him later. That's all I got.
Happy birthday to you.
Lukey, Luke. Good job, bud. Yummy.
So NDI sent a video earlier in the day today of them singing happy birthday to my boy. Of course, I watched the video when I was at work and started bawling. And they had a cupcake for him, and they sent a couple pictures of giving him a ball back, because he likes bouncing balls around. And then my ex and I and his brother got to do like a Zoom call with him, and I was happy to see his little face. And poor guy, he seems confused. Like he got up from his bed and then was walking around the unit like he was like looking for us, like he didn't understand like where we were, or he was trying to find us. But it was nice to be able to tell him we love him and wish him a happy birthday. So, been a roller coaster of emotions, but we're hanging in there. I just got off a Zoom call with my boy. He smiled so big when he saw us on the screen, and I started talking to him. His reaction was really sweet, and I just miss him so much. It's almost unbearable.
It's been 3 weeks since Caden was first admitted to NDI. This experience has been a real exercise in identifying the things that I do and don't have control over as a parent. I think life is a balance to recognize what things we do and don't have control over, and doing the best we can with ourselves and what we can control. For me, parenting feels a lot like stumbling around in the dark without a flashlight. I have this tendency to kind of set unrealistic expectations for myself at times and then feel inept when I don't meet those expectations. I think moms, I can only speak for moms because I'm not a dad, but I know, like, for moms, we have this tendency to beat ourselves up. And I have to remind myself that I can only do and make the best choices that I possibly can with the knowledge I have in that particular moment. You know, it reminds me of the Maya Angelou quote, forgive yourself for not knowing what you didn't know before you learned it. And hindsight is always going to be 2020. And as long as we as parents are moving forward in love and making the best choices that we think, you know, in our child's best interest, then we are enough. And so I leave you with that. And for all you autism parents out there, you are seen, you are heard, and you are not never alone.